Today at Solemn Oath Brewery.
Having a beer at the end of the day, we decided to kill it.
Really?
Number one selling beer we had. Because
the thought process was? I never was a big IPA guy, but my taste, I think, because I've
been wrong
drank
before.
Listen, I've been wrong more times than I can count.
You have no idea.
I think the first time we ever talked about foeders.
Foeders. It's a foeder, isn't it? Is it a foeder?
Foeder-aged.
Yeah.
I've heard fudder.
Yeah.
What is that exactly, though? Welcome to Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer, the podcast that will increase your enjoyment of craft beer and your appreciation for the people who make it. We've traveled to the Logan Square neighborhood of Chicago to go from grain to glass with John Barley, founder and CEO of Solemn Oath Brewery, to share the stories that make each brewer unique. I'm beer drinker and hellraiser Brian Noonan, and all my opinions are strictly my own for good reason. Behind the camera is our executive producer, Cody Goff. Cody, what has you excited about this episode?
I'm excited because we're going to talk to a brewery owner who hadn't even brewed a batch of beer before he opened his doors. How and why is that possible? What was it like to be the first brewery to open in a community in over 100 years? What is going on in that community? And where does the name Solemn Oath come from? You definitely want to hang around for that part.
Well, I mentioned we're in Logan Square. We are at Still Life, the tap room that Solemn Oath opened in 2021. The main brewery and tap room is located in Naperville. They opened in 2012, but John is here, so we came to where John was to try to find him. And then, not content with a brewery in Naperville and a tap room in Logan Square, we will get to a sister brand that was launched in 2023, Hidden Hand Brewing. So a lot to talk about. And an interesting side note, Cody, you might enjoy this for later. Solemn Oath became the first production brewery to serve Naperville since the 1880s when they opened in 2012. So it is a lot to get to, a lot to talk about.
Wait a second. No one drank beer in Naperville for 140
It
years?
was all bootlegging. It was all mafia run, allegedly. It was people with no headlights on their car, moonshiners that had come up from the hills of Kentucky that were in the western suburbs, and they were serving all the beer in Naperville.
The western suburbs, pretty intense.
Western suburbs are not to be trifled with. There's a lot going on there. And there has been a lot going on. And since 2012, Solemn Oath has been there, just celebrating their 13th anniversary. I did the math so you didn't have to when I said 2012, and this is 2025. And I don't know. I had a calculator at the house today when I was doing all the research. Anyway, John Barley is here. Thank you for being here. Welcome. We're glad you're around.
thank you so much.
So let's start. You're from Wisconsin, which we all know is a hotbed for beer.
Yep.
But you didn't really get into beer, if I'm correct, and correct me if I'm not. You were in college here in Chicago at DePaul, and your parents moved to Brussels for a while.
Correct.
And as you started going over there, that kind of shaped your thoughts on beer. How, in what ways? What was so different? Because I'm sure here at DePaul you were drinking a few beers, and then you go over to Europe and your mind changes.
Yeah, back home in Wisconsin, too. I did plenty of research. I
was going to say, I've spent a lot of time in Wisconsin. Yeah. People do enjoy their beer there.
But, I mean, it just became something that opened my eyes a little bit differently, experiencing not just Belgian beer in Brussels, but also kind of German beers all over and just traveling in Western Europe and having those experiences and kind of entering and learning about these kind of institutions that have been around for hundreds of years. And, you look around in the U.S. and obviously everything's a lot younger, right?
Right.
So, just a completely different outlook on beer and what it can mean for a community. And I kind of nipped and tucked and took some different parts of that and decided it was something I wanted to do.
There was, I read some quotes of yours talking about how those 100-year-old institutions that you just mentioned were part of the community. And did that, as you opened Solemn Oath, was that a guiding principle? Was that something that you had in the back of your head?
Yeah, you never know what you can mean for your community or what you can mean for other people, whether it be, that's a kind of a founding principle for hospitality in general. And I think breweries and with us manufacturing and making beer and being a home and a destination for, our whole livelihood is a product that people have when they're celebrating, they have when they're having a tough day, they meet up with their friends and celebrate some joyous occasion, a birthday, graduation, whatever. I think there's some responsibility in that, and I kind of always wanted that to be part of something that we built. It wasn't just this clear vision of what I wanted Solemn Oath to be. We really try to make it more of a collective experience, and it'll steer itself.
Where is that part of why you opened Still Life, this tap room? Because you were a big part of the community in Naperville with the brewery, and then you opened here in Logan Square. Was it that striving to be part of another community and have a place where people can come? Because as I walked in today, I literally saw a mother with a new baby. I saw people with dogs. I saw a multi-generational family sitting at a table. It definitely has become that. Was that the goal?
Yeah, I think having sort of this, stigma's the wrong word, but sort of our home base being on the western side and in Naperville, a goal of mine was always to bridge really well into the city. Our brand, our community, our culture within Solemn Oath has always done really well, and we've always found our people in the city. And us creating an authentic experience. Obviously our best experience with beer is often us standing across the bar from someone and teaching them about it and teaching about what our culture is. So I think, that's always something that we wanted to bridge into the city as early as we could. And the timing worked great. I mean, it's been an unbelievable opportunity for us. It's been so amazing how well we've been welcomed within the Logan Square community. But again, it's also been education too, because we've got Naperville, and you touched on it. One thing I wanted to mention, with us being the first production brewery in Naperville since 1880s, the brewery in question there was the Stanger Brewery. I don't know if you went into that, and their brewmaster actually was Adolf Coors before he started Coors. Yeah. Wow. So the story and the adage always went that the owner of the brewery wanted him to marry his daughter. He said, actually, I think I'm going to move to Golden, Colorado instead. And so he went and started his bottling works there, and then eventually it became Coors. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, the production breweries in Naperville went from Adolf Coors to Solemn Oath, from Stanger to Solemn Oath.
Now, would that be why Coors was only available west of the Mississippi, because the Stanger owner would not let Adolf Coors come back?
I can't speak to that.
I love a good conspiracy theory, so we might have to jump into that. I'll do some more research.
That's right.
You mentioned culture a couple times already. So what is Solemn Oath's culture?
As I kind of touched on, it's whatever a lot of different people need it to be.
Okay.
And, we've always looked at sort of a collective experience, and best idea wins out behind our walls, and very much the kind of persona of Solemn Oath on the business side of it.
Yeah.
Great ideas can come from all over the place, but for the community, we're going to keep creating cool memories and experiences for people. We are very active. We do a lot of different events, very unique and just kind of interesting, ongoing, always looking for new ideas and experiences to give people with our beer. And just give the opportunity for down here, for example, at Logan Square, we had a bunch of regulars that pitched us on having small wave pool club. And we sponsor a team down here that competes across Chicago. It's just whatever we need to kind of be for people, we want to try to check that box as well.
Nice. Well, I saw. Yeah, you have the pool league, you have euchre tournaments, you have food vendors coming in on the weekends. You do everything to integrate yourself.
Wait a second, you have euchre tournaments? That's amazing.
We do once a month, both locations.
Yeah, but Cody, theirs are different. It's Bob Euchre impersonators.
Wow.
It's a tournament. Who could be the best Euchre impersonator?
So I had a friend that got super...
That's the Milwaukee element.
You brought it from Wisconsin.
Right.
I had a friend that got super into euchre in his 20s. What kind of demographic does a euchre tournament draw here?
Oh, it's all over the place. And then, it's one of those things that starts with, I remember in Naperville, they had it, the first night, maybe we had 6 teams or something like that. But now now it brings them out, and this place gets packed. Everybody's got their pairs. They keep coming back once a month. It's great. It gets competitive.
There's a lot of people. So this is a big bar here. I mean, beating the city limits. We've been to a couple breweries, Brian and I, but you got a lot of space. It's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right, this shocked me probably the most about you, John, because as different as every brewer we talk to has been, and their stories are all different, most of them have one common thing, that they started as home brewers. You never home brewed. Mm-mm. You never even did a test brew before you opened Solemn Oath. One, what were you thinking? And two, how did that go? Like, to be opening with your first batch of beer ever, that had to be terrifying.
I wasn't nervous at all. I think we have always had professional brewers as partners and have been in charge of the beer. And, hiring good, talented people and letting them do what they do well is just something I got to put my trust in, because, I'm not a recipe designer. I've obviously learned a lot over 13, 14 years now of focusing on this, but, no, I mean, it was just never something we pursued. It was, it was always kind of assumed that we were going to have some high quality, world-class beer. Okay.
It's quite an assumption, I got to say, because I'm sure there have been other places that did all the test beers that thought the same thing and then didn't happen. But initially you hired Tim Marshall. Right. He was your first brewer.
Yep.
What made Tim the guy for like you said, somebody who's had business background and that kind of thing, but hadn't made beer before? What made Tim the guy that you risked it all on at the beginning?
Well, when we came up, going back, I really got into this project. We opened our doors in 2012.
Right.
I would say really around August of 2010 is where I decided it was something I wanted to do.
Okay.
I had never homebrewed. I had no hospitality experience whatsoever.
So what did you do prior to?
I was a communications director for a youth-focused nonprofit.
Okay.
I always worked within kind of branding and PR and communications, primarily in the sports world.
Yeah.
And, so I was used to, even with Solemn Oath, one of the things I've always loved in my professional career in general is everything kind of geared towards we all did this different work, no matter what department you were in. And then at the end of the day, we had this thing. We either through a sporting event or we have this beer that's like this tangible thing that then goes into the world.
Right.
So that's always been a passion of mine and something that I wanted to pursue, and that translates into how we kind of approach beer. But got really into, traveled a lot, had a lot of different experiences. When my foundation being Wisconsin and experiences in Western Europe, and really kind of started to formulate what I wanted to do traveling around the United States as well. I was in love with kind of the second wave of craft, the Stones of the world, what was going on in Southern California in the late aughts or whatever you want to call them.
Because you and your brother, who lived in San Diego, went to a bunch of breweries as research, correct?
Yep.
Down in that area?
Yeah. And, he was living out there at the time, so I was there quite frequently. Just kind of started to formulate and shape what I wanted to build. And, that really turned into what our vision was. We did a lot of, Butterfly Flash Mob, which is a beer that we have on, which is, sort of a Belgian twist and a European influence to it, but we've always been a very hop-focused brewery, American hop.
Yeah.
We're an American brewery at heart, right? So, always focused on the hops, and that's always been kind of integrated into it. But as I was designing what it was, I started reaching out to breweries all over the country. I received business plans, emails that were thousands of words long with what was wrong with them.
Okay.
Just made a lot of friends along the way.
Right.
It was a different kind of era too, because that was at that time there was maybe 1,500 brewers or something like that. I was going to
ask, because and we know from all the people I've talked to, brewing is there's a camaraderie there, but to get that kind of response from people who at some point may be a competitor, but they're like, hey, man, the more the merrier, come on in. That had to be, encouraging.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. And especially, people that I admired what they were making. And, to hear back from literally every single person I ever reached out to was incredible.
That is incredible.
And, so as we were going through that process, started interviewing a whole bunch of different brewers. That was right when we started to kind of get into that aspect of it. Goose Island got bought out at that time. So we had the opportunity to interview a lot of talent here in Chicago. That was really nice.
Sure.
And then ultimately, just with the vision and the beers and what we wanted to align with, and how we kind of saw what we didn't know what it was going to be. We were going to, we started for our first 18 months. We were draft only, right?
Okay, sure.
No package whatsoever. And Tim Marshall, who's now with Sun King, actually down in Sarasota.
Oh, nice.
He came on board, and we figured out the scale and figured out what we needed to grow, and he was always a well-respected part of the Chicagoland community.
Okay.
World-class beers, awesome person, and it was something that we just really clicked well. We were at the Bavarian Lodge, I think, quite a bit during the research time, that research phase.
I love that that's what it's called in the beer industry. Hanging out at a bar is research time. Cody, we need to start telling our wives that we're doing more research.
That's not what you tell your wife?
No, I just tell her I'm leaving. She's so happy that I'm out of the house, she doesn't care where I'm going.
It's fair.
But so I mean, working with Tim was awesome, and
so as a guy who, as you said, you're not a recipe guy. You hadn't.
Sure.
At first, was it just as you're working with Tim and you're telling him where you want to go? Is it beers that you liked? Was that how it started, or was it styles that you had experienced either when you were on the West Coast or in Western Europe? Were the ideas yours, or was there a collaboration with Tim going, okay, I hear what you're saying, John. I've made this one. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, it was not sampling or anything like that.
Right.
It was a conversation just like what we're having right now,
Okay.
and how I viewed beer, how Tim viewed beer, and a lot of people say they like the collaborative element of it, or that I think with a lot of different founders too, they might have a very specific vision that they try to build around, and I like working with smart people that can do shit that I can't.
There you go.
So trusting Tim, trusting what his vision of it was. It's not like I could trump him from a recipe to formulation standpoint.
Sure.
So, I've got my vision. I express the best I can. And that's evolved obviously over the years and with experience and all those sorts of things. But, our beer operations department today are the people that are in charge of our beer.
There you go. So how has your vision evolved over the years?
Man, we've made a lot of different styles of beer.
Yeah.
And, I think it was such a strength early on for us to be in that kind of era that came in and created the SKU proliferation and having so many different, I mean, in a given year, we might make, we have made upwards of 70 different beers.
In a year?
In a year. So you think you do the math, and that's 1.2 or 1.1 per week, right, of something new that's coming out. That has slowed as our business has evolved and whatnot. But I think the process there, and what we always kind of sought, was we want to not, again, I don't want to predefine what should be, what our people that support us, and bars and restaurants that support us, and grocery stores and liquor stores and everybody that has our beer on shelves, rather than tell them what we should be making, we've always wanted to get that data from them and let the beers get battle tested. We think ultimately that's going to help us make better product. And at the end of the day, if we're not making the best beers we possibly can, then what the hell are we doing?
Well, your portfolio is really diverse. There's so many different styles on tap just here at Still Life, and there's different stuff in Naperville. How much is it, like you said, the feedback from your customers and the people who drink your beer, how much is it staying with those traditional styles that you came to love in Western Europe, and then not chasing trends, but being aware of what's hot now and trying to follow those as well?
I mean, it's all it's all conversational, and we're looking at data like anybody. We look at Nielsen data, we look at everything, but ultimately, for how we design our beers too, while it seems like we may do a whole lot of stuff, still like 65% of our business is 3 beers, and that's Luke Holsch, Small Wave, our hazy IPA, and Snaggletooth Bandana.
Really?
So yeah, I mean that the bulk of that. Everything else is really small. We do a lot of kind of romance projects with a lot of our more esoteric stuff. We do, we've got a foeder in house that we use as a foeder lager that's got an ongoing beer in it all the time. But feedback from what we've liked that we've done before, what we haven't brought back in a while. We've got 2 locations that also had 2 very different drinking cultures.
Sure.
We've got a very kind of the moment, still liking hazy and still very hop focused beer drinker that comes through our tap room in Naperville. And here, whatever our lager is, new lager is going to be the number 1 pull. Lose the number 1 pull at both locations because it's $5 every day.
And that's the Kolsch.
Yep, and that's the Kolsch.
Delish.
Yeah, we won a bronze with that at GABF. Back in the day, we always called it bronze time because you have to to win to get third and lose to get second.
That's true.
But we've it's just the business has evolved, and we've got a lot of different kind of sectors, and we've got a lot of projects. We're never at short for creative ideas of different brands and different concepts that we want to do. We won Best in Show at Fobab with a kind of an ode to Orval, and we like to show a lot of diversity. So, the people that support us every single day see that we've got a lot of different skills and a lot of different tricks we can pull out, and we still hold that standard of world-class beer.
There you go. John Barley is our guest. He is the founder and CEO of Solemn Oath Brewery. Their main brewery and tap room is in Naperville, Illinois at 1661 Quincy Avenue. And we are in Solemn Oath Still Life, the tap room in Logan Square, which is at 2919 West Armitage Avenue in Chicago. SolemnOathBrewery.com is where you can get all the details on both tap rooms. Hidden Hand Brewing, which we'll talk about in a minute, and all the events that are coming up at both places. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is Brewer's Choice, where John is going to highlight one of the many delicious beverages here at Solemn Oath Brewing. And welcome back on this episode of Crafty Brewers, Tales Behind Craft Beer. Our guest is John Barley. He's the CEO and the founder of Solemn Oath Brewery. The original brewery and tap room is in Naperville, Illinois. We are at their Logan Square tap room, and it's called Still Life. Brings together a little bit of your Wisconsin roots and some European influence. And it's got, as I look over here, I see little kids, I see dogs, I see people playing pool, I see everybody enjoying beer. I like that kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because normally I drink in a dark room by myself. So it's nice to come out and see people enjoying themselves in a communal atmosphere.
We've got big windows here, too, so you can get yourself out of the darkness.
Oh, I know. The sun's coming in. It's beautiful. SolemnOathBrewery.com is the website. So there, I'm done with those. We got a lot to talk about. All right. This is the time where we allow the brewery to showcase one of their beers.
Sure.
So tell us what we are going to sample.
We are going to sample Snaggletooth Bandana, which is kind of a beer that's had a bunch of different lives for us at Solemn Oath. But early on, I want to say it was within the first, I should probably know that going forward, but I want to say probably within the first 12 or 13 batches was the first time we made this beer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So this is a, sort of a what has now become more traditional West Coast focused IPA.
Which means more of a danky hop, is that correct?
Well, higher bitterness,
okay.
Typically much clearer from a clarity standpoint.
Okay. Yeah, it is not.
And a little bit less malt focused. Obviously,
okay.
This is we want to get everything out of the way for the hops to be able to do their thing.
Showcase the hops.
Yep. So we want to get the malt and everything out of the way a little bit and kind of go as light as we possibly can. It's about a 6.5% beer, but as far as the body on it, whatnot is a little bit on the lighter side. So
Now you've said it had a couple iterations here. What has been its evolution?
well, like anything, and like any kind of product that's made based on agricultural products, right?
Okay, sure.
The hops that we began with kind of evolved, and we had to kind of shift with that as well. So this is traditionally it's very kind of a C hop, very C hop focused beer.
What is a C hop?
Like the traditional C's, so like Centennial, Cascade.
Oh,
on
I
that
thought
kind
you
of
meant
side of
like
it.
the C, like
Yeah,
it was
yeah, no, like
Ursula
the letter
the Sea
C.
Witch was
Yeah,
bringing
so
them up.
yeah, and this beer over the last even 3-4 years, we actually went into sort of a lower lower bitterness phase with it as well, and just really we weren't liking where it was kind of going. So this past year, we actually took a pause from Snaggletooth. It's been a year-round for us for since 2016. It's been a year-round beer for us.
Okay.
And last fall, we took a pause with it to retool, revamp, and revitalize it.
Okay.
We went much more aggressively on the hops, and then also this one thing that we're really excited about too is this uses Centennial Incognito, which is hop extract in a compound that gives us a lot better yield. It's a kind of a good example of we've used a lot of different products and kind of a more modern hop products in a lot of limited release beers over the years, but this is kind of a cool example of us kind of translating that into one of our core beers, one of our core products.
When you say increase the yield, does that mean the hop flavor yield, so you get more of what the hops bring to it?
less plant matter. So it's there's essentially a hop oil to it.
Yeah.
And then which so much of this offsets so much kind of pelletized hops that we would typically use to achieve the same sort of thing. But we went, for Snaggletooth itself, we nearly tripled our hop rate across the board per batch, and it's something that is regularly in my fridge at home. I mean, get asked a lot as a brewer what I'm drinking or what my favorite beer is, and this is my favorite beer we've got right now.
Cody, that's question. All right, we don't ask that question later. We don't.
We already worked ahead.
Well, so now we only have a final three. I was telling John this before.
Oh, different answer for then.
No, all right.
Yeah.
That I never was a big IPA guy. Now, but my taste, I think, because I've
been wrong
drank
before.
Listen, I've been wrong more times than I can count, and Cody keeps
You
track.
have no idea.
He'll pull the scroll out every once in a while, just if I get too full.
And
myself.
it is a scroll. I actually use one of those like feather pens to write on it.
Yeah, it's
there you
very, very old Shakespearean way to shame me, but
I'm old
whatever.
school.
That's his thing. You can definitely taste the hops, and there is that hop bitterness, but it's not a bitterness that would make somebody go, "Ooh, that's too much." Because there was a point where breweries were just more hops the better, and I think now there's a more, and it sounds like with Snaggletooth, you guys are really looking at. Let's find the balance rather than just say, "Hey, we got 1 million pounds of hops. We're going to dump them all in." Maybe 800,000 pounds of hops will work just as well.
Well, I think you tinker with different processes over the years, and I think a lot of that perception of being overly hopped too came from even the last 6-7 years with kind of the hazy revolution, right? And when you segment that into different parts of the country, and I spend a lot of time out east, for example, and in Massachusetts particularly, and what they drink out there is actually more of a, Chicago, for example, is a very, we have amazing hazy brewers. We've got Maplewood, we've got Hop Butcher, we've got, award-winning hazy beer capital, right?
Right.
And it's a much sweeter profile for a traditional kind of Chicago-style hazy. But that's one of the things that where Hidden Hand came to be, was really an exploration of some of those different, segments of that, because I can tell you on the East Coast right now, they it's hazy. It is very fruit forward. It is very citrusy, but they still ramp up a lot of bitterness. You go like traditional Vermont style. Those beers are bitter. They're bitter as hell still.
Really?
Yeah. And personally, I love it.
Is it the 1% or the 1%?
Well, it's like it just continues to be like a full frontal on all of your sensory, right? Like,
okay,
it's like an attack on sensory at some point, but there's an art to it too, where it's done really well and where it's done
Vermont,
not well.
They would have put more maple syrup in their beers,
right?
That just makes sense. Cody, what do you think of this one?
We talk often about how some people like a beer flavored beer, right? And they'll gravitate towards whatever style that is. To me, if I had to describe this is an IPA flavored IPA.
Sure.
Like that's how I feel about it. Like if you like IPAs, this is an IPA. There's no bones about it. Not in a bad way.
No. Yeah.
It's definitely an IPA. You definitely get that bitterness. You definitely get those hops. Like it hits you on the nose right away. And it's just a solid, like, this is what I'm looking for if I want an IPA. More than we've had a lot of IPAs. Again, we've been around for a while. We've gone to a lot of breweries.
There's a familiar element to it, right? That would be the word for it, probably.
It's just if I had to describe like any of the beers we've had is like, oh, which one is the most IPA-ish? This kind of does it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it checks all the boxes when you're thinking about an IPA. It's got that clarity. It's got the bitterness.
There's a very fruit forward element to this as well.
That's what the grapefruit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. Yes, because I like grapefruit, but yeah, and this has that kind of, I don't know exactly how to describe, but if you eat grapefruit, you know that feeling in your mouth where you're like, okay, there's something going on there.
An acidic experience.
Yes,
right?
yeah, acidic experience.
That wasn't even my improv group in college.
Was it? That was my first cover band.
Wow.
We used to do Jefferson Airplane covers exclusively.
You guys aren't going to believe this, but I have this tattoo on my back. No, I'm kidding.
Hold on. Now we get a couple beers in, then John starts stripping. It's going to get crazy. You mentioned earlier that you listen to the customers. You listen to the people who drink your beer.
Yeah.
So when you take something like Snaggletooth, which has been with you since basically the beginning, and you start tinkering with it, which all breweries do to make, because you're always looking to make the best of whatever that beer is.
Sure.
How do people react?
All iterations of it, and it never would have reached anyone had it not been something we wanted to put our name behind.
Of course, yeah.
So I think the evolution on that side of it was just part of the process. And again, like not only, originally as designed, if we brewed that exact recipe today, it would taste wildly different from how how it tasted back in the day. Just with the terroir of the different ingredients and how the hops have evolved in different generations. But, also as has the drinking base. And, especially when it comes to hop forward beers and kind of the revolution of the last 20 to 25 years of American hops, right? And hop forward beers and everything that people have experienced on the hazy side. And now what they're looking for in something that's a little bit more bitter. Traditional is not the right word because this is not like a traditional, but all that's kind of taken into account, I guess.
Okay.
But as far as how they, I think I have no data that says like we lost these people by tinkering with stuff because we were just trying to find what we wanted.
Well, usually that feedback,
at
the bar, people go, "Why'd you?" Like you said, why did it go away for a little bit?
Yeah,
we loved this beer. Why'd you take it away and mess with it?
Well, you mentioned too, like you not being an IPA drinker, like at your core,
previously,
right?
Yeah.
And I bet. If you think about the first time you ever had a Sierra Nevada, or the first time you had even like a Two Hearted can or something like that, like
I used to drink Wine Hearts.
Yeah, there you
go. Back in the day.
But like the first time you had a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, it was like biting a pine cone.
Yes.
And now you'd be like, is this a lager? Is this the lightest thing? It, comparatively to comparatively to what's out there from aggressiveness of hops. And, I think as the drinking base has evolved, we really sought with Snaggletooth and what we want it to be now to bring it back to how we felt
Okay.
13 years ago.
Nice.
And that means we've got to get more aggressive because it was a very aggressive beer at that time too. And, I'm really proud of where it turned out.
You do get, like I said, the hops are there. There's no doubt that
Yeah.
this is a hoppy beer. All right, but before we move off of Snaggletooth, I mentioned that you just celebrated your 13th anniversary.
Yep.
And part of that is you have Oath Days at the Naperville location.
Yep.
I noticed as I followed you on Instagram, Solemn Oath Brewery, you can follow them on Instagram and all the socials. But there was one of the days when there was a tattoo artist there.
Yep.
And people were getting the tooth tattooed on them. That is dedication to a brand.
Yeah.
To get that tooth.
Yeah, it's a whole it's a odd feeling, obviously, from an idea that I had 15 years ago for people to be getting tattoos of the beers we make and Solemn Oath tattoos and teeth. But there's
the big tooth
itself. That we had actually at this dentist office that always used to come in, and they would like buy Snaggletooth T-shirts and all this different stuff. And one day we like finally asked them, and it was like, "What?" And they're
your
like,
deal?
"Well, it's a molar. It's not a snaggletooth at all." Because we have the, I was like, actually, we never really thought about it like that. We just put a tooth on the can.
Right.
But like if you think about it, if we were drawing a snaggletooth, it'd be kind of like a fang or an oval,
Yeah,
right? Like so
right.
that wouldn't really be
You
good
wouldn't be
for
able to
pictures,
tell what it
right?
is.
Yeah.
This, it's a tooth.
That's right. But yeah, so we have. There's probably there might be 100 people with snaggletooth.
That part
Tattoos.
of like you said, to have a festival celebrating your anniversary where there's somebody tattooing your logos on people. It's
Right.
It's like, okay, this is
we make
something new.
We make a flash sheet before, and there's different Solemn Oath elements, and then other stuff because they don't.
Sure.
People have options, but yeah.
It's amazing. Earlier, you mentioned that Lou and Snaggletooth, and there was one that are the
Small Wave.
Small Wave. Those are the big ones. But then you do some smaller stuff. When you launched Wicked Hand,
Hidden Hand.
Hidden Hand, sorry,
Yeah.
Hidden Hand, is that what focuses, or where did that come from? What is Hidden Hand? What is Hidden Hand doing different from what you're doing with Solemn Oath? Because it's same company.
Sure.
So why have another brand, and what are they doing? Or what are you doing with that brand?
Well, I think Budweiser does pretty good with Michelob, right?
Yeah. Well,
We sell a few, but no, for us, and we two or threefold here, but for us with the launch of Hidden Hand, it really became an opportunity for us to do something different from Solemn Oath and create something specific that we saw a need for. We saw kind of a slowing. What would be the right phrase? Wholesale business has changed immensely, obviously, over the last. You should have someone on the podcast that talks about
Just the
wholesale, just so
wholesalers?
we could all learn from it too.
very good.
But
Cody, make a note.
yeah. But, with the wholesale business changing the way it has over the last decade as well, there's different evolutions in that. And with limited release sometimes there becomes challenges with focus for a limited one-off beer if we want to bring just a little bit of it into the market.
Okay.
It just turns into noise, and maybe it slows down some other stuff that we should really be focusing our business on.
Yeah.
So we brought Hidden Hand into... originally, we built up a fan base for it, and at the time, our brewer, our director of brewing operations, was JP Vanderveen, immensely talented guy, and we wanted to have sort of a different expression of what we thought was happening in the beer world. And we've got our core pieces of the business that we want to continue to grow and focus on. We've got small wave 12 packs for the first time this year.
Oh, wow, good.
But for us to kind of explore, we always looked at Hidden Hand was a place to all the different things that we learned from all the different beers we make to execute.
Okay.
And here are the very best hazy interpretations, hazy IPA interpretations, typically a single and a double IPA that would come out. And then we also do a lot of kind of more esoteric styles in there as well. Our foeder-aged lagers. We've got on the table right now, we've got Heaven's Mirror right here, which is a Mexican lager with lime foeder-aged. And, just a place for us to explore a little bit differently from what the expectations of Solemn Oath already had.
Okay.
And it gave us a kind of a clean break. And to someone like yourself that follows the industry and is tight with it and goes to their bottle shops and that sort of thing, they say, oh, this is Hidden Hands from Solemn Oath. It's this other thing from Solemn Oath.
Okay.
They make that tether. To a casual customer,
They don't know.
they don't know.
Okay.
And
Yeah, because you have the Mexican lager on tap here.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a part of the family.
Yeah.
It's still, we Solemn Oath and Hidden Hand, we come out with beers all together at the same time. Okay. For our locations, because we have the chance to educate directly to the customers, right?
Correct.
But, as we get onto shelves or, another opportunity for, bars that we've had long-standing, decade-long relationships with to support us in a new way they want to have a different style of beer, but they don't want to give all the handles to us or anything like that. We give them a chance to do that too. And one of the brands that's really kind of the core piece of Hidden Hand is called the 77. It's a very light lager. And, that's aggressively priced, right? Like it's a beer that's meant to pull and be approachable. And if anybody is looking, much like Lou, where maybe that is a little too fruit forward for a typical macro drinker, we've got the 77, which is approachable for damn near everybody.
Okay.
And, it just gives us a chance to do some different things. And then also within that, we do a lot of barrel aging. We've done a lot of, the whole Val d'Or project, which is what we won Best in Show and FOBAB with. Sort of a traditional, hyper-traditional, wood-aged approach to Orval, bottle-conditioned, those sort of things. Yeah. So it just gives us an avenue to do something different. We've got, we have a successful hard seltzer brand in City Water. We've got Solemn Oath, which has 3 core pieces and some seasonal stuff like Oktoberfest that'll come out all the time, or appropriately for Q3. And this gives us a chance to play a little bit in a bound area that doesn't necessarily just have to be experiments.
Okay.
Wait, what was that barrel aged that it was Valinor project?
Val d'Or.
Val d'Or.
Yeah.
D'Or.
Valley of Gold. Yeah.
Oh, is that French?
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I was right.
Look at you. Look at you. You mentioned foeder-aged a couple of times.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what that means, what is foeder? Because we talked, I think the first time we ever talked about foeders was at Off Color.
It was John at Off Color.
Yeah, at Off Color. So, but for people who may not have seen that episode, and go back and watch it.
It's a foeder, isn't it?
Is it a
foeder?
Foeder-aged?
Yeah.
Everybody says it different.
I've heard it all. Who the hell am I to correct anybody?
I've heard fudder. I've heard it always.
Yeah.
What is that exactly, though?
What is the word?
No.
I was going to say we call it a foeder, but
a foeder. Yeah. What is foeder aging? What is it?
So especially in Chicago, this is a very we are as a community, and with Goose Island being a huge pioneer to it, we are very much a barrel aged community, right?
Yes.
It's like something we're very much known for. This is festival of barrel aged beers every fall,
That's right.
And it is very much. I think probably somewhat niche with the exception of Goose, but like for industry focus, we all compete with, like what Revolution, oh my God, like Hardy's beers are unbelievable. Yeah. And John Laffler too. There's a lot of wood-aged beers are a part of the Chicago community.
Right.
And another aspect of that beyond us getting, wet bourbon barrels from Brown Foreman, right, is foeder, which is typically it's ours is a 20 barrel foeder, for example.
Okay.
it's fresh oak. We get ours from Missouri. One of the best foeder makers in the country is Craft, Foeder Craft down in St. Louis area. And, when you order it and they build it to spec, it's essentially like a big ass barrel.
Okay.
But on the inside of it, we pick our toastings for the styles of beer that we're going to be making within it.
Okay.
Ours is we use ours exclusively as a lager, foeder lagers, and 4 foeder lagers, I should say. So no ale yeast has ever been introduced into there at all.
Wow.
But every 6 weeks or so, we turn over this foeder to do something different with it. So we'll do like we've got a Czech lager on here. We've got we do our Oktoberfest, our Märzen in it as well. It's called Foederface. I love it.
Yeah.
But what it is a big barrel. You get a lot more kind of fresh oak and fresh tannins from it. Sort of a little bit of a vanilla kiss.
Okay.
As opposed to, like something that would be bourbon barrel aged or something with more of a char, or even what could come from Chardonnay barrel or something like that, or French oak in some way, is just like a different experience with the beer. And it's softer, it's a little delicate, and over time we can scrape out the inside of the barrel to kind of give it some freshness to the oak element of it. But we have one. We've got ambitions to get more.
Very
but
nice.
we do beers ongoing in them, and they're for our more limited release type stuff.
That's the way to go.
That's awesome. Yeah, they're wonderful.
All right. Now, I mentioned one of the things that surprised me about you was that you had never homebrewed or done any brew. The other thing that I read, and again, correct me if I'm wrong because it does happen. I read when you opened Solemn Oath that you had a 3-beer limit for people. That's something I've never heard of from a brewery. What was the thinking behind that, and when and why did that policy change?
That was our municipality not having had a brewery in 125, 30 years.
See, Naperville, we're looking at you.
Yep. So, it's always been, we've always had a great relationship with the city there. Ultimately it just becomes, it's weird because with us opening in 2012, even we were still one of the early state taproom licenses that were ever administered. And so for us to pitch our liquor commission and our city council eventually that we want, no, it's going to be fine. We're going to open up a bar in an industrial park. And
hear me out.
Trust me, I know you guys don't typically have cops like you would downtown Naperville where if we were to open up a brew pub or something like that on a typical retail corner.
Did they have limits at those like in downtown Naperville?
No. It was just it was
because you guys were out there hidden in the industrial park.
We had to write our own license, and they wanted to put safeguards in. And the reality of it was that we needed for our longer term strategies, we needed the beer for the market anyway. So it was like fine, and we'll earn up some trust, and we did. And by the way, when we eventually, I remember early on, we were like, hey, we want to throw big parties like Oath Day.
Yeah.
We don't want 3-beer limit for these days. All right, we'll get these special marketing permits or whatever. And we had all this data and stuff like that. And it was when we kicked the doors open. You want to know how many beers people had? 3.2 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, they're still going to have just 3 beers, right? But fast forward a few years, and us being an early adopter, and I know some of the different municipalities, because they would either call me or they would talk to our city, started replicating it, and there was a couple of townships with limits.
Okay.
And eventually I had to bring in the liquor commission and be like, listen, we're at a disadvantage being here. And I had all these different charts and stuff, and it's here's when we started, it was one sheet of paper, right? And it was here's out of the 300 tap rooms that are in the state of Illinois now, and the one the 6 that are red instead of green are the ones with limits.
With limits.
Yeah. And why do we have this again?
And then they decided, people drink.
We had earned up enough
the
trust
trust,
and evolved, and until Noon Whistle came in. I don't even know when that was. 5 years ago, maybe, or something like that.
I think so.
We had nobody else in the town either. So
there you go. Perfect. All right. Before we get to the final four, you've been quoted as saying that you view Solemn Oath as an unfinished story. So if that's the case, we talked about Hidden Hand. We talked about your seltzers and the bubble waters and all that stuff. What do you envision as the next chapter of the Solemn Oath story?
I think we'll continue to focus on what we're really good at, which is creating these experiences for people. In Illinois, with the way the law is right now, although I'd like to see it change so we can continue to push that frontier, but we'll add a third location. We can have 3 locations in Illinois.
Nice.
So,
any idea where? Are you going to go north? Are you going to go south?
We've got there's a lot of ground in Chicago. There's a lot of ground north too. So we've talked about a lot of different things. We've also talked about there's a concept on the far west side that we would even really like to do. So to do all of these things, I need to change the law. But I think the next chapter of Solemn Oath is really kind of an evolution to continue to do what we're really good at. I think we're really good at inspiring people. I think we're really good at creating experiences of all different kinds, from families that we can see here hanging out, having beers at Still Life while they're doing whatever, happy birthday party, and also things like Oath Day, where we had the apocalypse in Naperville over the weekend. So I think we'll continue to focus on that. We've got Stay Blue, which is a project that we just launched on Saturday quietly. We're in sort of a pre-launch phase with it right now, which is a sparkling water brand that we're messing with. It's never been our ambition to have like a straight up NA beer.
Sure.
But we drink a lot of Topo Chico within our walls. So
you might as well make your own.
We might as well make our own. and so that's something that we're really going after. But, ultimately, we've got a lot of different things in store and a lot of different experiences we want to give people, and all over beers, ideally.
All right. Well, that means it's time for the final four. We ask these same 4 questions to every guest on the show, John, and we're going to ask them to you because you're a guest on the show.
All right.
Question number 1, the hill you'll die on. So, and you've kind of alluded to this, so I don't know. Is there something, whether it's a popular style or something that Solemn Oath just, no, we're not going there?
That we will make?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm not really sure. We make so many different styles of beer over the years. I'm trying to think of something where we were just like, that would not be us. We've never made a sati, right?
A sati?
Yeah.
What is a sati?
It's like, what is that? That's like that. I think it's like an Egyptian style with like, I don't know everything about it.
We're learning something new here.
Yeah, we've never made that, but no, I don't.
And there may not be. I mean, it's not, you guys have,
nothing,
like I said, a diverse portfolio. Maybe there's nothing that you won't.
No, we
try.
do. Yeah, we do. We do kettle sours. We got one coming up that we do every once in a while. We do some wild beers.
What about a milkshake IPA?
We've done versions of it. It wouldn't be something. I mean, we're in no rush to do another one. If
there
that's
you
what.
go.
Yeah. But there are things that have gone away that should stay gone away.
There
I guess.
You go.
That would be an example of that. I would say.
All right. Yeah, on the same note, question number 2 is a beer that you brewed, and it might have been really popular with your customers, but for whatever reason, whether it was too difficult or you're just not going to do anymore.
We made one of our initial. And it was a core brand. It was our number 1 selling beer, End All, was our initial core hazy IPA.
Okay.
And I remember having conversations at the end of one of the days. It was myself and my COO at the time, Eric Hobbs, having a beer at the end of the day, and we decided to kill it.
Really?
Number 1 selling beer we had. because
the thought process was?
we could make a better beer like Small Wave.
Okay.
And what we had learned and garnered from Hidden Hand and what we knew we could make from a hazy IPA experience, it was like early summer. And by the way, when you do that in the early summer in the industry, you got to have everything tight and ready to move for fall pitches, for grocery stores,
Right.
for all those sorts of things, which that timeline could not even be tighter. So we killed our number one brand to bring you Small Wave, which is our number one brand now.
Very nice. Right, Sean. All
Yeah.
right, question number 3, and you mentioned it before, and then you teased that you will change your answer. Your go-to off-the-clock beer, it can be one of yours. You mentioned Snaggletooth before. It could be another beer, but is Snaggletooth the one?
For the ones that we make, yes, Snaggletooth. My number one beer of all time
Okay.
is Orval, which is a Belgian pale
All right.
made by Trappist monks.
Okay.
And that's a hill I'll die on. Orval forever.
Orval forever. All right, perfect. And the final question, your favorite beer and food pairing. So let's take one of your beers, one of Solemn Oath beers, and your favorite food to eat with it.
Oh, very specific. Like,
What could be?
yeah.
Yeah, or you could just give me a style and a food.
See, I do like beer and cheese experiences quite a bit.
Ooh, all right. Yes, being from Wisconsin, those
Yeah.
are the two. I mean, those are the two food groups, right?
What else do I need? Yeah. So Orval with anything.
Okay, perfect.
And with a cheese stick from Quick Trip, right? But
If you haven't been to Quick Trip, you haven't been to Wisconsin. That's the way. That's the truth.
yeah, it is.
I have my
Yeah.
Quick Trip rewards card in the car.
Oh yeah. But no, in general, oh man, as far as beer and food pairing that I really enjoy, yeah, I'd say like an Orval with like a blue cheese or something like that. But
Now you're talking.
yeah,
A lot of people don't. I've been eating blue cheese since I was a little kid. I love blue cheese with a passion.
Yeah, my middle child, my daughter has a lot of food allergies, and one thing that has no allergies whatsoever is cheese. So she's like, we always try to explore something new with each passing day. And
Does she have a favorite that other people would be like, how is a child eating this type of cheese?
huge fan of freshly shaved Parmesan. And Gouda. She likes Gouda quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Soft and hard.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I got in trouble in first grade because
Yeah.
I brought too
Cheers,
much
Scout.
blue cheese. Yes, good taste in cheeses. All right. Well, that's it. Before our final toast, though, I'd want to say, first of all, thanks for joining us on Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer. Be sure to support your local brewery, Solemn Oath, and all the others, your favorites, because without your support, it is rough going for some of your favorite breweries. Crafty Brewers Tales Behind Craft Beer is produced by award-winning podcast producer. Yes, and we've added another one to the mantle, Cody Goff. You can visit our website to browse our
Loves the video. He loves it.
He loves doing video. He loves setting up the lights. He messes with
Love
them
the
the
lights,
entire
love the
time.
camera
He's all
angles.
about editing.
Love the
He's
tripods.
he's a monster. And if you want to see how his work has evolved into such an award-winning video podcast, then go to our website, craftybrewerspod.com. You can review our over 40 episodes. We release a new episode every other Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the podcast apps. And they should comment.
Helps us. Commenting helps
Comment
us.
helps us.
Anything you do, show us that you know we exist. Those are all helpful things.
right.
And a lot of people are watching this on their TV, on
On
YouTube.
their TV.
Which is great. We love that. But, you know,
I like to think that people are watching it in bed.
why do you like to think that?
Because I remember like Johnny Carson saying that he knew that people were watching them while they were intimate in bed.
Oh, while they're intimate,
Yes,
specifically.
I would like to think that people are watching John talk about Solemn Oath while they're pantsless.
Yeah. Justifying their blue cheese habits.
Yes, they're like, oh, cheese. He finally got to cheese. They mentioned at the beginning he's from Wisconsin. It took them 50 minutes to get to cheese. That seems weird.
Should we have checked with John first to see if that's okay?
Well, you can watch another episode with one of our many guests, and then we don't know if you're watching them pantsless. And then after this episode's released, come back to it so John doesn't feel embarrassed.
And you don't need to live in Wisconsin to get a Quick Trip rewards card.
No, you don't. You can just go to Quick Trip, sign up, and then I'll tell you what, John, I've gotten gas so many times at Quick Trip. I love when I scan my card and they go, you've earned a 50-cent discount per gallon. I'm like, damn straight I did. Yeah. And then I go in and I get some breakfast burritos and I move on. Cody, listen, it's a Wisconsin thing.
I went to school in Iowa. I'm familiar with Come and Go.
Oh, Iowa's all right.
Come and Go's okay. It's you know why I like Come and Go? Because they have draft beer in the gas station, because nothing says I'm driving home like pour me a pint and then I'm going to hit the highway.
In the fountain machine, which is weird. I usually get a half Mountain Dew, half lager. You know,
that's good.
There you go.
Yeah, because then the cops are like, "Oh, he's just drinking Mountain Dew," and you're like, "Ha ha! We do not condone drinking and driving. This is a joke. Please be responsible with your alcohol consumption. And if you're going to send me a letter." Anyway.
How am I going to edit this?
Thanks again to John Barley, the CEO and founder of Solemn Oath Brewery in Naperville, in Logan Square, and Hidden Hand Brewing. So get it all.
Wait, I forgot to add, why Solemn Oath and Hidden Hand? They're very mysterious names.
Yes, good question, Cody.
So Solemn Oath comes from, my name is John Barley, which we kind of passed over. That's
here's the thing.
Yeah.
I had it, John, as my first question.
Right.
My first question was going to be, let's start with shall we say, the grain in the room. I'm sure you've been asked about it. Yeah. And then I thought to myself, that is such a hack question that you've probably been, and Cody would have punched me.
No,
it's come up a couple of times.
I didn't make the hack joke about how many times in my 20s I got blackout drunk at John Barleycorn.
Yes.
Right.
Which I'm sure you've also got.
I did not sing John Barleycorn Must Die.
Is that
none of it. It's a song by Traffic.
Yeah. That's a folk song in the 70s.
Come on
all
now.
Stemming from the Robert Burns poem, John Barleycorn Must Die.
Yes.
So three kings swore a solemn oath that three kings swore a solemn oath that John Barleycorn must die. So they personified the grain. They made up the name John Barleycorn.
Okay.
Vowed to kill him, make bread, and provide food for their families. So we view that as beer.
Oh, okay.
And that's from the Robert Burns poem?
Yeah.
Robert Burns, the Scottish poet.
Right. Three kings swore a solemn oath that John Barleycorn must die.
Look at what you learn.
I know all about Robert Burns. My dad's a bagpipe player.
I understand.
Know?
I know.
I've been to the Burns banquet many times.
I just didn't want to be. I didn't want to be that guy who asked you again.
No, that's fine.
Because I was going to ask, were you destined to be in beer, cereal, or soup? What was the industry that you were destined to be in?
Wait, but what about Hidden Hand? Is that related?
Yeah, what is Hidden Hand?
So Hidden Hand, no, that's a little bit different. That is from the portraitures of like the Napoleonic era, where if you ever find yourself casually looking up Napoleon paintings.
Always.
Yeah, and with their coats, it's hidden in there, and that was a symbol to their kind of secret society that they were in. They would have this hand on the inside, and they were kind of in plain sight, showing that they were a part of a group that had a different agenda on the inside. And for us, anyway, that translates into like their Solemn Oath and the legacy of what it's become over the last 13 years. And this was a new story for us. But for those that still got what Solemn Oath was, we wanted them to see and that Hidden Hand element to still have it be familiar and be a part of what our next chapter is.
So if I walk in with my hand in my shirt, is there a private room that
I cannot I cannot confirm nor deny.
I got you.
That is so cool. We should have led with that. Brian, I'm reviewing your questions next time.
Please do. Only because I
do no other work for the show.
I had it right here.
All right, the paper throwing was my idea, and it's now Brian's favorite part of the show.
I love to throw things. All right, that's it. Thanks again to John Barley.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Noonan. That brings us to our final toast. What are we toasting today, John?
Well, we've had a pretty good, let me think here, 20 some odd year run, last 15 years particularly with Chicago beer.
Perfect.
How about another 15?
Cheers. Cody?
To my ability to not need a 3-beer limit, to feel the effects of 1.5 beers.
And I will toast to my ability to not ask the hacky question and yet somehow at the end bring it back so the hacky question does get answered.
Yeah.
John, thanks for being here. Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you all.